When we deal with life and death, there is one horrible piece of scripture, and it is really the most difficult chapter in the book of Revelation to understand, but by the Spirit we can understand it. But he speaks about death in another way, and I want to read it to you. He says, "Blessed and holy is he that have part in the first resurrection." Now, who have part in the first resurrection? Those people. Come on, guys, the graves opened. He went down and he preached to them, and the graves did open. And you know what happened? They walked around the city. I'm going to read it to you because many times these little verses are not being preached, so they are not in our memory. Matthew 27:51. "And behold, the veil of the temple was rent," and we know the veil was his body. This is the minute his body died. That earth shook so much that veil rent from top to bottom. How do you rent it from top to bottom? God is just ripping this whole thing apart because that veil was so thick. But now they made it in Babylon, and it was a Babylonian tapestry with nothing behind it. So what happened when the veil rent? There was nothing behind it. They could see their emptiness because Christ was the final sacrifice. Did they go sew that thing together again? Really? "The veil of the temple was rent from top to bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks did rent. And the graves were opened, and many bodies." Okay, wait. The souls of the people were in the pit. The bodies, the worms did eat. Did eat. What happened here? The bodies of the saints which slept arose. It's beyond this world. It's beyond what we can even think. The bodies of the saints which slept arose, and they came out the graves. Ezekiel has a prophecy, and he says, "And you shall know that I am Lord when I have opened the graves." Their eyes should have opened when the graves opened. Israel kept on, and they were willingly ignorant, because he says there are people that are willingly ignorant that the world stood up out of water. This is a term that the Bible uses. So God is knocking on your door, but you willingly stubborn because you want to do it your own will. And this is what we sit with here. But these people, the graves opened. Now, can you imagine? The people recognize them. The graves opened. And after the resurrection, they went out in the holy city, and they appeared to many. Now, when the centurion that was watching saw the earthquake and those things would happen, he feared greatly, and he said, this is the Son of God. You must know these people are idol worshippers. He knew, I've got to do with something here bigger than me. And yet his own received him not. They killed him, and they still did not believe. They still paid for people to lie about what happened there. Isn't this nuts? So in Revelation 20, he says, "Blessed are those that have part in the first resurrection." So Jesus was the first fruit. And these people was raised with him. They were also resurrected. And they started walking around. And I mean, they also ascended the cloud. Come on, they ascended with the cloud. They became the cloud. And so, do we not have part in the first resurrection? You have to understand. Romans 6, when you are baptized in him, you are baptized in his death. And when you come out of the water, you have part in this. You have part in the first resurrection. This is very important because it says, "Blessed and holy are they that have part in the first resurrection, because on such the second death have no power." Oops. What is the second death? "But they shall be priests of God and of his Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. Okay, I just want to say, here we're touching on 1,000 years. Do you see? He doesn't say they will reign a millennium. Millennium is 1,000. But 1,000 in the Bible is not millennium. This is spiritual language, and you cannot put a natural language connotation to it. 1,000 years means perfect time. They would reign 1,000 years. You have part in the first resurrection when you are raised with Christ. What is very important here is to understand what is the second death.